So I don't know what it means. YouTube is not receiving enough video. What does that mean? What does it all mean? I don't understand. Who's here? Just me. Just like pause. I just want to pause. Who is here? If you're here, come say hello. You can chat. Can you chat? This is an excellent question. Hi. Wow. That is a significant lag. Hmm. No. Yes. Ten minutes to go. I hope you're all watching. I'm here. I'm working on adding in chat options because I feel like that would be fun. Hello to anybody that is watching. I am here. I am working on adding in chat box so that we can chat. If not, I might just enable comments so that we can, comment on stuff. The funny thing is, my 12-year-old daughter totally knows how to do this, but I can't ask her because she's at school. And I thought I asked her the other day, but clearly I did not retain that information. Or, I might just be talking to myself. I'm not actually sure who's there. Okay. We have a few minutes till I need to get started. We're good. We're good. That's an excellent question. People! There's people! I see people. People watching people. I'm looking for a thing, and I do not know where the thing is that I am looking for. No, not you. I'll take you. Okay, so to anybody that can hear me, I have reloaded, or I've added a chat feature, chat box to the page. So if you reload the page, you should see it. And then we're going to get started. Nobody else is watching. Sad panda. All right, folks, we are going to go ahead and get started. Um, so we're going to start at the very beginning, and I'm going to show you how to set up the account right from scratch. So give me 1 second here. And we are going to get started with creating great graphics with Canva. Um, so just a few things about me, and hi there. Thanks for joining me today. If you're interested in finding me in other places on the internet, you can check me out at BTO Terry on Instagram and Twitter, and on YouTube I am at Beyond the Office. So, what are we going to talk about today? Today we are going to cover how to make things in Pinterest like that advanced without my knowledge, without my permission. There we go. We are going to cover how to make some things in Canva, like social media graphics, um, like things for Pinterest and Instagram and Facebook, your posts, your events, your cover page, all that stuff. We're also going to talk about email headers, so things that you can use in your email marketing, and blog post images and presentations just like this one. So this presentation that you're seeing right now is actually created in Canva, and actually being presented through Canva, which is kind of cool. And this is a new thing that I only recently figured out that it can do. But I thought it would be a fun thing to go over today. And then we're going to talk about, and I apologize for the sniffles, my allergies decided that today was a fun day to be annoying. And we're going to talk about something that Canva has that's called the Magic Resize. It is part of their paid plans, but it can be super helpful when you're working on graphics and you want everything to be cohesive. So let's get started. And I'm actually going to jump over to, we're going to escape out of this, right? And we're going to get out of my, we're going to log out of my Canva account because I want you guys to see what it's like to start from scratch. So you're going to go to canva.com, and you can choose the option to sign up with Facebook or sign up with Google or just sign up with your email. I like to sign up with things just with my email because then I know how I'm logging in. I don't want everything connected to the same thing. You guys are seeing all of my email addresses because I can't type for crap today, and I'm randomly hitting buttons to zoom in, so that's cool. Live demonstrations at their best. Okay. And let's see. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and use the suggested password. Does it allow me to paste that suggested password? Whoa. Well, that's not what I wanted to do. It'd be really handy if I could. There we go. I'm just going to paste that down here so I can find it later. And I am not a robot. Hopefully I don't sound like a robot on the video, but I am definitely not a robot. And I know that there is a little bit of some delay in the live. So if you're asking a question and I don't see it right away, please just bear with me for another minute or two and I will get it. You can ask questions. There should be a chat box showing on the page that you're watching this on. If it's not there, go ahead and hit refresh because I am totally seeing it for me. It should totally be there for you too. And if you're here, please say hello in the chat box. That would be super awesome so I can see who's here. I can see like a count of people that are here, but not, I don't know who you are, and I want to know all my lovely friends. Okay, so when you sign up for Canva, members, I think there is a limit to the number of team members that you can have on it for the free account. But if you have somebody else in your office or a partner or an assistant that often helps you with your graphics and your social media stuff, you might want to consider inviting them so that you all have access to the same stuff. I'm going to go ahead and skip that for now. And it's giving us some options here to go ahead and just dive right in and get started on some different things that we can do with Canva. So like I said, some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about is social media posts, like things for Instagram and Facebook and other social media stuff. We've got Facebook story things here. And it doesn't look like there's a lot until we click on this little kind of hidden circle over here that shows us some more things. So we've got WhatsApp, we've got Twitter posts, we've got Twitter header graphics. I know a really popular one to do with this is Pinterest. So as you can see, you can create your banners for all the different social media channels and stuff with this. And this is where the Magic Resize is going to come in handy because once you create it once, of course, none of these things are the same size. So if you create it once and then you can use the Magic Resize to basically copy that styling and that layout into all of the other different sizes so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. There's also documents that you can do. You can do, birthday cards and recipe cards. I've used Pinterest to make invitation graphics for my kids' birthday parties and family reunions. Um, I use Canva for a lot of things. I almost said I use Pinterest for a lot of things, which is true. I do, but that's not what we're talking about today. So let's just get started with a basic Instagram post. And let's see. Sound. Can you hear me now? Of course, it's going to take a few minutes because there's lag. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. It's new. We're learning. One second. I'm just going to text my friend back. They just told me there was no sound. Okay. So the mic volume on my toolbar is way higher than it used to be. So hopefully that means that you guys will be able to hear me better as well. Okay. I'm going to wait a minute before I continue moving on because I want to see if anyone can hear me. And the friend who is texting me, if you can tell me if the volume gets better, that would be fantastic. And okay, I'm going to keep going because I really don't want to have a bunch of dead air, but I think it should be better. So we have selected an Instagram graphic that we want to do. So we're going to try that. And as you can see here, there's tons of different even categories and styles, right? So we've got Halloween stuff, we've got summer stuff, spring, lots of different ones. You'll see here that some of them say free, right? And some of them don't. So like this one, if we were to use this, this graphic is not free. In order to remove the watermarks, you would have to pay for the image, or you can always upload your own image and change it out to something else. So you can totally use Canva very inexpensively to create things for your site. And I'm just looking at the playback to see to see I'm sorry. I feel like I'm so distracted. This delay is a little bit weird. Okay, so let's try this one. I really like this layout. I just, in general, like this layout for things that I want to do on Instagram where we have a picture in the background and then we have the text on front on top of it. And then by doing it on a colored square, and we can even do that sort of transparent, it helps to really create the contrast that you need for to be able to read the text better. So, um, but I don't really want to do lemons, like that's not my thing. So I'm gonna look over here at photos, and there is a ton of images that I can use that Pinterest already has access to. Or not Pinterest, why do I keep saying Pinterest? That Canva already has access to. And you can just drag those over and it'll sort of replace it and crop it and fit it into that space, right? So that's pretty cool. And um, so then, okay, so you can also upload your own pictures. So if you have specific pictures that you took or that you want to be able to use on your site and for the graphics, you can upload those. So you can just drag them on over and you'll be able to use those in your graphics as well. Um, okay, so we can do that and we could just the same sort of thing. We're just, and it's probably me, not Canva, because I struggle with those things sometimes, but don't we all? Okay, all right, I'm getting some comments now. Sorry about the chat thing, guys. I'm trying something new with this webinar, and it was totally working when I tested it the other day, and things are a little bit buggy. So if it's terrible, I will basically re-record all of the goodness without the random commentary and make that available to you guys. But anyway, so we've uploaded our picture. Again, you can add them here from Pinterest or from Canva. There are a bunch that are free. There are also ones that you will find that do cost like $1 to use. Whether or not you want to do that is totally up to you. I like to get, I have a bunch of images that I've grabbed from different stock media sites, so I just kind of keep those around and kind of reuse them for different things when I want to. So the other thing I'm going to do, you can also add, this is for adding like different shapes, different grid layouts, charts, all of that kind of stuff, gradients, some clip art. There's all kinds of great things that you can add here. This one is for adding text. So, and as you can see, there's different layouts even. So if I really know that I wanted to add this text block, right, it just adds all of that. And then I can just click into that text and change it to what I want it to say. And it has it in the font. So if you see like a font combination that you really like or a layout that you really like, you can just grab that and put it in there. And then if you decide that you don't actually like it, we're going to click on it until we see these little circles around it, right? So that's selected. And then we just click the little trash can button up there. And we're going to make that go away. And then in here we have some other different just background styles. So this is not the images, this is a little bit different. I actually don't use backgrounds a lot. I tend to use the images like I dropped in here more often than anything else. And then again, this is where you can see all of the pictures that you've uploaded already if you want to use those. So now that we've got this style, we're going to click on this yellow square here. And maybe I want to make it a little bit bigger. But now that I've stretched it out, it's not centered anymore. So we're going to grab it and we're just going to move it around. And oh, look, we get these perfect little purple hash lines that show us when it is centered. As you can see, there's the vertical and the horizontal. I love that feature because it makes it so easy to make sure that I have things lined up where I want them to go. Now I also want to color it because this yellow, while it's a fantastic color, is not my brand color. So I'm going to go ahead and click here. And actually, if you give me just a second, pardon the weird noise that you heard because the little post-it that I had all of my colors on fell to the floor because of course it did. Um, so I have my list of colors that I use on my website and I want to add those to Canva so that I can use them on a regular basis. So we're going to go ahead and just add that. I like the black. We're going to add another color here. This is a dark blue that I use. So you can add in your own colors that you can only do up to 4. I forgot about that. But you can add in your own colors that you use a lot so that you can change them out and easily find the ones that you want. Or you can just add them in up here. So we're going to grab my pink. I like this pink. Maybe here's what I was talking about. Sometimes what you want to do is make it just a little bit semi-transparent, right? So we're going to click up here. We can drag the transparency down. If you had something in that background image that you really wanted people to be able to see a little bit better, you can do that, right? But then there's a balance between making making sure there's enough contrast between the text color and your background color. Okay. So I like this white, and this font is Playlist Script, which is totally cute. I'm not a fan of this font, so I'm just going to double click to highlight the text. And up here I have access to tons of Google fonts, right? So if there's a particular one you like, you can search through and find it, or you can just start typing it. I like Railway, I like a lot. So I'm going to use Railway. And probably I want to change the color on that because that black I just don't think is really standing out too well on the pink. So we're just going to change the color. And change the color. I don't want Railway Thin. Did I pick the wrong one? I just wanted regular old Railway. You do have a bunch of options here, so sometimes you just got to make sure you're grabbing the right one. All right. So now I could maybe, if I was doing a graphic like for a free webinar, like for today, right, I could say free webinar, and then I'm going to select this text and type that in, and then maybe down here I want to put and I'm going to change this to the same thing. So I'm going to go back to my Railway and my white, maybe make that a little bit bigger. And so this would be like where people can sign up for it, right? Oh no, but now I don't want it bold. So I'm going to uncheck that. And now it's going on 2 lines, which I don't want. So I can just drag this little guy here and it will lengthen the width of that. And then again, I can move it over until I get my vertical line there so that I know it's centered. Okay, so I'm going to call this my Canva webinar graphic. And I like to name them like that because I tend to, and that way when I go to download it to my computer, which you can do right here, right? So download it. Then I know what size it is just by the file name. So I could go ahead and click download and I can do a PNG, a JPEG. I can change what kind of file type I want and then go ahead and download it. And it does this every time. And oh, look, it wants to know if we want to try Canva Pro for 30 days, which I probably do. But we're going to get to that in a second. So now I have this graphic. I like this layout that I've created, and I want to resize it to be able to use in different kinds of of files and different kinds of media. So when I click on the Magic Resize, it gives me this option to that's included in the Canva Pro, right? So you can try it free for 30 days, which is always fun. Sometimes I do this. Sometimes I'll sign up for the Canva Pro and use it that way for like a month or so if I have a whole bunch of graphics that I want to do. And then I'll just like cancel it for a while. So I kind of go back and forth between the Pro. It's not something that I keep all the time. Maybe if I was more consistent with social media posts like I intend to be, I would use it more, but right now I don't. So there's that. But let's go ahead and we're going to click on that to try it free for 30 days. And we're going to go ahead and say claim my free trial. And I just thought of something that is not fantastic for the demo. And that is that I think it's going to ask me for my credit card information. And I don't have that handy. And it is like 2 floors away. And I'm not going to make you guys wait for all of that. So let's see what it's doing. I don't know what it's doing here. It's waiting for something. Seriously, Canva, what's going on? Maybe it knows. Maybe it's the fact that I'm live streaming the video and it's sucking up my internet connection. Okay. I'm going to cancel it because I don't want to waste any more time with you guys. So, the same layout isn't necessarily available for every template. So, let's say we had that fantastic social media template that we wanted to do, right? We have our Canva webinar. The thumbnail will update. And now we wanted to also make a Pinterest graphic that had a similar layout. So we click on Pinterest graphic and it's not going to give us the same layout options, right? There's tons of different layouts now, and there's going to be some that are similar and some that we can, adapt and kind of make our own, but there's not the same as what we were just looking at. So we can look at these and maybe you want to do something totally different for your different social media platforms, and that's just fine too, as long as you're keeping with your branding colors and all of that sort of stuff. Or you can, like I said, try to find something that's similar and then try to resize it. So like this one looks like it could be similar, right? We can make this work. So if we wanted to do that, we're going to go back to our uploads over here. Or nope, uploads, wrong folder. So we would drag our picture over again. Okay. And now we have this, which we don't really want. Oh, it's not letting me reset. Okay, so now this one's being picky. I'm just going to delete it. And then I can go to my shapes. And so I'm just going to pick a shape here. So these frames is what you can use to insert pictures. So if I dragged this circle one over there and then I could drag a picture on top of it like I've been doing with the background pictures, which can be really handy, but that's not what I want to do for right now. So for right now, I'm going to just put in a square. And then with this position up here, I'm going to click backwards until it's behind that text. All right, so now I've got that. I'm going to change that. I'm going to grab my pink color that I liked. Okay, we're going to grab that again. There's a weird filter on the background here, I think. It's causing it to be a little bit lighter there. So we'll take the filter off. And now I had my last design. So you can have all your designs open in different tabs. And so that I could say, okay, I know that I had some text here, right? This was create with Canva. but it was in that other font that I had. So we're going to go look for that one. So see, it's a little bit tedious, but you can totally, make it all up. And you don't have to necessarily have exactly the same one across all of the different channels. Sometimes you want to use different styles on different channels just because kind of that's what's a better fit for that audience. What you do want to make sure that you're doing, though, is consistent. So there's something consistent that's with your brand across all of it. So maybe that's, making sure you're using the same fonts in all of it and the same colors, the same kinds of stock images. So even if the layout is different between different channels, you want to have the same stock image, or the same image of, whatever you're using across all of it so that it's consistent. Now this is obviously way bigger than we had it over there, so we're going to take that down. We're actually going to bump up the size of this. And the Magic Resize, and I apologize because I don't know why that wasn't even loading to let me try to pay for it. The Magic Resize just kind of does all of this stuff for you. So it changes the graphic into the different sizes and then, kind of copies all of the same features over. And so then you don't have to do as much of the changing. It's totally up to you if you want to try it. Sometimes people just like to be able to play. Another thing you can do, so I don't really like how much line space there is. So if we go to spacing here, I can change the line height so I can kind of tighten that up, right? And maybe I want to reduce the letter height or the letter spacing and kind of squeeze those in a little bit more. So that's all up to you. So now I have this graphic for Pinterest and I can publish it directly to Pinterest from here, or I can download it and publish it myself to Pinterest, however you want to do it. There's tons of different ways that you can work around things. The other thing that I think is really fun is once I have found a layout that I like to use. So I have this one. I just realized that I'm missing a letter in there. Why didn't anybody tell me that? Nobody told me that in chat. Ugh. So I really like this layout, right? And I want to make sure that I use it the next time. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do that. One, you could go here and click on the little dots and say make a copy. The other thing you can do is you can actually just add in an extra page. So this adds page 2. And so sometimes I do this with maybe this is, instead of a free webinar, it's a new blog post. And it's like, how to make, what's one I did recently, how to make your website load faster, right? Okay, so with this one, obviously this font is a little bit big, so then we're going to resize it, but it's just affecting this one. So then we still have our other one up there, and then we can do that. And sometimes even when I'm doing this, I like the overall layout, but I want to use, say, a different background image for it. Let's see, maybe for this one, I want to use a computer in the background instead of my sparkles and my flare. So we're just going to do the same thing where we drag it over very slowly, very patiently, because it's not Canva, it's totally me. I do this all the time. There we go. So then I still have my first page of this that has the same layout, and then I have this one that has, a different background image. But then I can keep them all together. And I kind of prefer to do it like this because I do have different styles of posts and styles of graphics that I like to make for the different social media channels. So you can use the Magic Resize to make that one design change into all kinds of different sizes, or you can just do something like this and find the one that you like, the layout that you want for each graphic, for each channel, and just make copies and just keep going. We did this when we were doing graphics for WordCamp Pittsburgh as a thank you for each sponsor. So we made one And then we just duplicated it so that we had like, 8 different copies, 8 different pages in here. And we swapped out like the sponsor logo in each one so that we were able to have a custom graphic without having a whole bunch of graphics fill up in the Canva list, which I wish I had thought about creating multiple pages like this when I first started because it was so much easier to manage. And when I look at my home screen on my main Canva account now, um, I get a little bit of panic because there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, things that I created for clients that I was doing, 5 different sizes, and there's just so much clutter. So I really like doing this, the multiple pages. So what are some other things you could do? You can do your Facebook cover photo, right? That goes at the top of your Facebook profile or your business page. You can do flyers. You can do an email header. And if you hover over any of these, you'll see what size they are, right? So this is 560 by 315. The email header is 600 by 200 pixels. This card, since it's meant to be a card, is given, the dimensions are given in inches and not pixels. Facebook posts are slightly different. They are not square. You can do your Twitter post, so a Twitter graphic, um, letterhead, all kinds of documents. There's tons of people that make printables, things to go along with your webinars and your courses and all of that that they're making in Canva. I use this actually a lot for, and it just went past, my YouTube thumbnails. So when I'm doing a video for my YouTube channel, and I want to have a nice static image at the beginning of the video, I make a graphic here. And again, there's tons of different templates. And when I find one that I like, I can just make multiple pages off of that template so that I don't have to copy it and have a whole bunch of clutter in my homepage there. Now, you'll see sometimes ones like this, and these are kind of neat because each of these elements is in here as a different kind of graphic. And you'll see that they do have the watermark. So before I would be able to download it, um, it's going to make me pay, right? But what you can do with these is you can actually recolor them. So maybe I really like the graphics, but they don't fit with my brand colors. So you can come in and just kind of recolor the different parts of it so that you can make it fit your brand better. So that's a fun thing that you can do with some of the ones that have the little icons in it. And maybe you just want like something simple here for your for a YouTube thumbnail, and then again I can go back to the images that I've already uploaded and drag it in there. Come on, work with me here. There we go. And so maybe this is gonna say create with Canva. But obviously in the white text, that's not working so well since I have a very light colored background. So maybe I want to make this my orange that I like. And then I can make these background pieces different colors. Now, sometimes it's hard to get to the background pieces because the text box is over it, right? So sometimes what I'll do is I'll do this position and I'll slip that behind those, and then I can easily grab these and change them to the colors that I want. And this is the kind of stuff that I like to share with you guys because I know that this is the kind of stuff that when I'm trying to do things trips me up, and then I can't figure out how to do it, and I get all mad like, oh my gosh, why is this so hard? It shouldn't be this hard. And it's a whole thing when really it's just it's stuff that you pick up from using it, but not everybody shares that kind of stuff with people. So I'm sharing it with you because I don't want you to be frustrated with something that I find to be really helpful. Now, I know a lot of people that are like, oh my gosh, Canva, it's so not a professional design tool. I'm going to stick with Illustrator, with Photoshop, with whatever. And if that's your thing, that's totally fine, right? Like if you already love using one of those things, I'm so not trying to change your mind and tell you that you have to use Canva. But for those of us who struggle with things like Illustrator and, maybe I have Photoshop, but I don't always like to use it when I can go on Canva and just make it and it's done. And it's just a little bit faster for me sometimes. It doesn't have all the tools that the bigger graphics programs have, but that's okay. The other thing is that I really like about Canva is the fact that I can use it from my phone. So there was a time about a year and a half ago that my best friend's mom was having surgery, and so I was at the hospital with her for moral support. And but I had some stuff that I needed to work on. I realized that I had a typo in a graphic that I had uploaded for a client. So while I'm sitting there in the hotel waiting, or not the hotel, the hospital waiting room, I was able to open up Canva on my phone and fix the typo. And then I could download the graphic and save it on my phone temporarily. And then I was able to log into the website from my phone and upload the graphic and fix it. Um, so was it an ideal process doing it that way? No, it totally would have been easier if I had had a computer, but I didn't have a computer with me and I didn't have Wi-Fi with me. So I was able to get the job done with the tools that I had available to me, which was really important. And still be there for my friend. I like the ability to work this flexible stuff that I'm doing, so I need to find a way to make it all work. Okay. So that's the basics of doing Canvas stuff for, let me switch. Is it going to let me see the presentation? Excellent. Even though I'm logged into the other account on that one. I'm waiting for it to like realize. So we did some social media graphics, and doing like email headers and the blog post headers is totally the same thing as any of these. You have to look at the sizes though. So the email header I like the email header that it has because it's a 600 by 200. So that's good if you're doing a graphic email. And I made a cover photo, basically, sort of thing for my email templates, which you guys all saw. And I made it in this. If you're doing a different kind of email, a different size or whatever, then maybe you try doing a custom dimensions or you look for something that fits the size that you need a little bit better. The blog one, though, I usually will actually use the same email header as my blog banner because this one that's 560 is just too small for me. It's not wide enough. And I already have this image and it's close enough for me. So I just use that. But if you had something that you needed to be really specific, like 637 by 172, maybe you're trying to do a graphic for a very specific um, whatever, uh, sorry, couldn't think of a word, then you can create the custom size and just kind of create a graphic from there. And so it doesn't have any templates, but it'll give you some options like this. So maybe there's a grid, there's a 3 column, there's a 3 row. This is like a 1/3, 2/3 kind of layout. So you can take these pieces and put them in there. And then, like I said, these can be replaced with other images. So maybe I want to bring that over there. Maybe this, I'm going to do just a solid shape instead. So I can go over here to my solid shapes. And I know these color combination is going to be terrible, but I can bring in a shape, right? And then now I brought in a square, so it's not going to let me stretch it to a rectangle. And what I really want is a rectangle. So I'm going to look at more options, all kinds of crazy funky shapes. Look at this. We can add this on top of that. You can make up your own layouts. You can do, the little smears. This kind of thing would look really great behind some text as like a way to highlight the text or make it stand out against the background image. As you can see, it's not just boring, simple options. You do have options for what you want to create, even if it's not a standard thing. But if what you're doing is stuff for social media, then it's got all the standard sizes that you need, and then you're just ready to go, right? So you don't have to go look up and, well, what size graphic do I need for for Pinterest these days and what do I need for Facebook and all of that stuff. You don't have to go look it up and see what the changes are. They've done that for you and they take care of that so that you can just go in and jump in and create the size that you need. Okay, so one other thing that I want to show you, and I did this thing because the YouTube live because I thought it would be really fun to do it, but I don't necessarily like that you guys can't ask questions. So I hope that some or most of you have figured out how to get the text box, the chat box to show on the screen. And again, if you didn't, just try refreshing the page that you're in, and you can get the chat box to show. But so if you have any questions, feel free to add them in the chat box, or send me an email and I will answer them later, if you're not getting the chat box to work. But the other thing I wanted to show you that was on my list is the printables. So I'm going to close out of all of these. And let's say you're doing a webinar or you're doing a membership and you really want to make something that people can download, but graphics isn't really your thing. Um, and this one is kind of interesting. So, I searched for printables you saw, it was like, we don't know what you're talking about, right? But sometimes you can trick it into giving you different options. No, okay, that's not what I want to do. So let's see. If I do a Google search for site canva.com, right, and then printables, it's going to give me something. So monster printables, 500 different planners. So it has these different templates that you can get to create worksheets. Sometimes you just got to figure out how to work around the mayhem. So as you can see, so this one is a checklist. If this is great, if you want to make a checklist for something to give to your audience, maybe you want to do a 5-day planner, and so something like that is cool. All kinds of different layouts, right? So you could grab like any of these, and maybe you really like this layout, but the colors aren't really your thing. Whatever this crazy tropical design is. So we're going to click on that. We're going to say use this template. And then we're going to bring it into our Canva account and we can make some changes. Okay, so let's get rid of the pink because that doesn't go with my brand colors, or at least not that pink. And maybe for this one, let's do my teal color in the background. So we'll do that. I don't know what these black things are, but I'm going to take them out of there, right? So we can just do that. It had a very 80s school background sort of feeling to it. So now that we're in here, it's giving us some other ideas for different templates. But if you clicked on one of these, it changes the template that you had. We're going to undo. We don't want that. You can, however, add an additional page. And so maybe you're working on a multi-page report. So you want to have I like this for the cover. And then this is going to be one of the pages inside, right? And you want to have multiple pages that have different layouts. So you can do stuff like that. Each page can be based on a different layout. And see, and in this template even, there's 4 different page layouts that go with it. So, okay, so now we're going to change that one to that. And you can make multi-page documents, and then you can download them, and you can download them as a PDF, and you can download the individual pages or all of the pages. So then it's easy. Then you have that PDF that you can upload to your website or your email marketing service that you want to have. Maybe that's your free lead magnet that you're building or things like that. So yeah, it's a really powerful tool. It has gotten so much better than it was when it first started. And I love using it. I love telling people how to use it, obviously, or I wouldn't be doing this webinar today. So I'm just curious, I guess, what you want to make with Canva and what kind of styles, what kind of graphics are you planning to use it for, or do that you already use it for? But now I have to wait for you to hear me. Okay. So, in the meantime, I'm going to go back to my presentation that I made in my other account. And again, I made the presentation. It was just one of the templates. I played with the colors a little bit, and then I just clicked this present option up here.